Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Adorkable Rachel, and it's time for another episode of Rachel Reviews, so let's just hop into it. Incredibles 2! Not The Incredibles 2, just Incredibles 2. I don't know why. It has been 14 years since the first film came out. I was in high school when that film came out. Let's just put that in perspective for a second. And fans have been waiting so long for a sequel. We got a Finding Nemo sequel, we got a Monsters, Inc. prequel, and we got 2 Cars sequels, but it took this long to get a sequel to The Incredibles. But I can now happily and proudly say that it was definitely worth the wait. Incredibles 2 takes place immediately where the first movie left off. The Underminer is wreaking havoc on the city, and the family jumps into action to help save everybody. After a fun and exciting battle with the hero family in Frozone, they are soon approached by a telecommunications tycoon who proposes that they take part in a publicity stunt that will help get the general public to appreciate supers once again. The supers agree, and it starts with Elastigirl going off and fighting crime and rescuing people on her own since she's the least destructive, and this of course puts a damper on Mr. Incredible since he has to stay home and take care of the kids. No, seriously, along with the frustration of wanting to be a hero, he kinda has some sexist views about it. But after coming to terms with it, Elastigirl goes off to fight crime, Mr. Incredible becomes a stay-at-home dad, and some epic and comedic mayhem ensue on both ends. While the first film is absolutely adored by so many fans, I think that one common problem that people still have with it is that it doesn't really focus on the rest of the family until the last third of the movie. Here though, one thing that the sequel does so much better is that it has a much bigger family dynamic. We get to see the family work off each other more, we get to see them use their superpowers and work together more frequently, and we also get to see the changes that the kids are going through and how much the parents are trying to keep up with them. Jack has an especially great scene where we get to see him use all his superpowers and he meets his first real nemesis, and oh my god, it is so funny. And that's something that I really enjoy about this movie and the last one, the tone. The fight scenes feel so much more epic than the ones in your typical family-friendly superhero film. There's a lot of energy and you can really feel the danger thanks to the editing and the pacing and the cinematography that still lets you see all the action. And there's also a few cuss words that are thrown in there a few times just kind of casually, like damn or hell, and I gotta say, when you see that in an animated film, it kind of does tend to add to the weight. And to contrast all that, there's also a lot of comedy in this film, both inside and outside of the action sequences. A lot of times in movies, when you try to put both of those things together, they don't always mesh together that well, but somehow in these films, for every serious moment, there's also a comedic moment to balance it out. There's a great contrast between the two, and the dramatic moments just make the comedic and positive moments seem all the more fun and uplifting. Edna Mode is back, of course, and she's actually one of the few supporting characters that does come back from the last film, and I'm gonna be really honest, I love her so much, and she's just so awesome to watch, and she's just so psychotic because she's so passionate about what she does, but I don't think she was in the movie enough. She's in like 2 scenes. What? That's it? Come on, guys. I mean, how awesome would it have been if she actually interacted with the family more or played a bigger part in their mission? Ah, opportunity wasted. Instead, we get a bunch of other new supers that, yeah, they don't really make huge appearances, but a lot of their powers are a lot of fun to watch in the fight scenes. But, I wish we could have gotten more Edna. I especially really like the looks of these movies because when you really think about it, everything that you see on screen is so open to interpretation. The way that people are dressed and the design of everything, you could say that this is the 1960s and I'd totally buy it. Or maybe it's now, or maybe it's an alternate reality of any of these decades. It doesn't really matter, but it does have a very retro look to it. And as someone who loves the 1960s, it's very eye-pleasing to me. And you probably noticed there's no pop culture references, there's no jokes about cell phones or tech humor or modern day slang or anything like that, so this could really be just about any time period. And that's what makes this movie so timeless. I was a little worried going into this movie because I thought it was gonna be the same kind of plot as the first film where Mr. Incredible has been living this suburban lifestyle and he just really wants to go back out there. And in some ways, it does still kind of have that. But here, we're also seeing more of him trying to be the best father that he can possibly be. He clearly cares about his family and he wants them to be safe and he wants to raise them properly, but since he's been the provider for the family for so long, he doesn't really have it together. And it's great because even if you're not a parent, you can still feel his frustration and his confusion. And even though he does have a couple of moments where he cracks a bit and is even a little bit sexist, we still want to see him come out better because he does want to do better and learn and be a good parent and a supportive husband. And that's one of the biggest things that makes this film and the last one so relatable. This feels like a real family. Superheroism aside, these issues are ones that so many families deal with. And it's not just the problems that they deal with, it's also the way that they talk about them and try to work them out that make them feel so realistic. Albeit with some fast pacing and comedy thrown in. And if you've seen a lot of these type of movies, then yeah, it's gonna be predictable. You're gonna know what the characters are gonna learn in the end. And as someone who's seen most of the Pixar films and so many superhero films, the bad guy in this movie is really not that hard to figure out. Sorry, they try to hide it, but I could see that coming from like 5 miles away. And I just kind of wish they had found a way to make it more subtle or just find someone not as obvious. I mean, I'm sorry, that did kind of take me out of this movie a bit. But I can also sympathize a little bit because a lot of kids that are watching this, they probably won't see it coming. I know this is a family film, it's not meant for the average moviegoer, so okay, we'll give it a pass, I guess. But my issue also is that in the first movie, the villain had a very personal connection with our heroes, and this time around, it's not that strong. It just feels a little more like, hey, we need a villain, so okay, here's a bad guy. Yay, villain! But even though we can kind of figure out pretty quickly how this movie is going to play out, thankfully that does not stop us from enjoying the fun and the journey of the characters. It really didn't seem to work as well this time around as a movie that had a lot of surprises, but everything else in the film was pretty great. The family dynamic grows and transitions well from the first film, the action and the comedy are a lot of fun, and for the most part, it does feel like a warranted continued story. It's pretty satisfying for what you would expect out of an incredible sequel. If you like the first one a lot, then you will definitely have a lot of fun with this one, just don't be surprised if the surprises are a little underwhelming. In my personal opinion, not as good as the first one, but still a fun time at the movies and definitely worth the wait. Oh, also, the short beforehand, don't be surprised if you get a little teary-eyed at the end of it. There were adults behind me that were bawling their eyes during the credits. God damn it, Pixar, always making us feel emotions. So those are my thoughts on Incredibles 2, so now I want to know, what did you guys think of the movie? Which one did you like better, this one or the first one? Also let me know, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And are there any other movies coming out soon that you want me to review? Well, go ahead and leave your comments below, be sure to like and share, and if you're new and like what you saw here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to hit the little bell button down there to get notified when new stuff comes out, because I make new videos every week! Bye, Adorkable Baddies, I'll see you soon!